Today's video is going to be all about tallow. I'm going to show you how I render it, what I use it for. But before we get into all of that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about tallow itself. So tallow is great for cooking. It has a very high smoke point of about 400 degrees. So it is fantastic for frying, sauteing, braising, all of your different kitchen applications. I use it for everything. This is my current jar, as you can see. It is almost done. It's about time for me to open my next jar. And they just sit on the shelf. I'll get into all that later and tell you why. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Christy. I am the pretty half of the Rockin' Robin Homestead duo, and I have my cute little puppy with me. He is on the floor in front of my feet, so if you see me kind of stumbling around, it's his fault. You want to see him? Come here, Bubba. Oh, you're so big. Oh, I can barely pick him up. He's a little over 25 pounds now, almost. Well, I guess he's a little over 3 months old. Say hi to everybody. Yo, give me kisses. Yes. He's so cute. He's gonna be a big boy. Now you can stay down here. Tallow is a pure, shelf-stable fat. It contains both saturated and monounsaturated and polysaturated fats in it. And it has a very high smoke point at about 400 degrees, which makes it perfect for braising, for frying. It makes great fries, by the way. For sauteing, braising, yeah, I think I said all that already. Great for cooking, whatever you want to cook. Tallow is great for cooking. I use it for absolutely everything, unless I want a little butter flavor, then I will put butter in with it. So I'm always using tallow. I go through tallow like some people go through socks, or, you know, Taylor Swift used to go through boyfriends. Except now that she's getting married, I hope she's not going to go through any more men. But that's beside the point. Tallow supports hormone production, brain cognition, and development. Our brains run on fat, so we need that fat in order to have a healthy brain, and tallow is one of the perfect fats for that. Tallow is anti-inflammatory. It contains selenium, choline, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins A, E, D, K, and B12. It supports immune health, sorry, my words get a little jumbled. It supports immune health, bone strength, vision, skin vitality, blood clotting. It is a very good thing to have in your diet. It has a lot of great benefits, and that's one of the reasons why I use it. The other reason being that all of the seed oils are so harmful for us. I may do a video on that later. If you're interested, please let me know and I will start working on that. When it comes to skincare, the fatty acids in tallow are very close to our own human skin, and it is very nourishing for our skin. It moisturizes, it helps us retain moisture, it can soothe irritation from bug bites, different skin conditions. It can help soothe that. It also promotes healing and the skin barrier function. Remember, the skin is our largest organ. It covers our entire bodies. What we put on it also goes in us because we absorb it. So with lotions, I don't know what kind of chemicals are in them and how they're reacting with my body. And I don't want to put things in my body that I don't know what they are. Like with the seed oils, same thing with lotions with the chemicals. I don't know what's in them. So I use a tallow balm or whipped tallow butter for my skincare, for all of my skincare. So it's one of the best things that I have done in a while, and I'm so excited to share this process with you. So to make tallow, we start with beef fat. And right over here, I've got 5 pounds, oh, it's a little over 5 pounds, right? Yep, it's a little over 5 pounds of beef fat that I got from my favorite farm. There is some meat on it, which I will be taking out and using either for dog treats or Christy treats, depending. And when we're done, it will look something like this. This is how I keep it for the kitchen for cooking with. And I go through these jars maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll finish a jar. I put them in pint jars or quart jars. Excuse me, these are pint, these are quart. Sometimes I forget. But I put them in quart jars for when I'm going to make my skincare. Now, bang, bang. The tallow that I used to cook with, I mean, it's very similar to the tallow that I put on my skin. There's only a few little differences. And even this tallow, this is what it looks like. It's wonderful for on your skin. It just melts right into your skin very easily. It doesn't leave you greasy. I love that. And I can use tallow just the way it is. Now, I only render my tallow once, which does leave a slight beefy smell to it, but I actually like it. So I only render it once. I know some people render it 3, 4, 5 times, and I just don't. I don't see the point in keeping going when I have it at the point where I want it. And when I make it into whipped body butter, it will look like this. And I will show you how I make this in a future video if you would like. Please let me know in the comments if you want to know my recipe for how I make my body butter. But let's get working on the tallow or the fat. I'm going to start chopping it up so we can get ready to do it tomorrow. I'm going to put it back in the fridge overnight so it can stay a little bit harder. It's easier to put through the food processor. All I'm doing today is getting it broke down so it's not in ginormous chunks so it can go into my food processor. I have tried cutting it by hand into very small pieces and I just end up hurting my hand. So I use my food processor. It's a lot quicker. I can get it into the oven a lot faster. At this point, I'm going to stick this bowl into the fridge overnight. My fat does come frozen, so I thaw it on the counter until I can cut it, but it's a little too soft to go into my food processor. It just turns it to mush and gets stuck on the blades and just makes a horrible mess. And that is why I put it in the fridge overnight. Just makes it a little more solid, a little harder, and easier to go in the food processor. I know harder and easier, yeah. Makes the cubes a little more harder so they don't smush all over the place. So I'll be back tomorrow to show you what I do next. The fat has been rendering in the oven for about 3 hours, and I'm going to check on it and give it a little stir and show you guys what it looks like. I do want to mention that there are different methods for rendering tallow. There's the wet method, which includes putting water in with it, and the dry method, which is without water. I prefer the dry method. That's just my preference for it. The pot that I'm using has a strainer pot that goes inside. You don't need a strainer to go inside. I just have a pot that has one, so it works good for me. You can just put it in a regular pot. You can put it on the stove. I put mine in the oven at 250 degrees until it's as rendered as I can get it. I want to melt as much of that fatty goodness as I can into my tallow. So let's take a look and see how it's going. You can see how much has rendered down since we started. Break it up just a little bit in there. So you see what I mean about the straining pot inside of it. It does work really well because all of the rendered tallow just falls down into the main pot below. Ooh. So that's what my strainer pot looks like. And hopefully you can see all the beautiful tallow that is in my pot. At this point, I will start getting my jars ready. I will wash them in hot soapy water and put them in the oven along with the fat so that they can be nice hot jars and sterilized jars for when I get ready to pour the hot tallow into them. And that is what cans them: hot jars, hot fat, or hot tallow, as it will be after it's rendered. And when I put the rings and lids on, or the lids and rings, that's the order that they go in. You can't put the ring on before the lid. Won't work. But once I get that done, after a little while, maybe 10 minutes, I'll start hearing the pings from the jars and know that they have sealed. If they don't ping, that jar is the one that I'm going to use first. That will go to the front of the line. The rest of them go behind the tallow that I had rendered previously. So that's a little bit of how I do my process. We'll check on it again and you can see how I actually get it all in my jars. My jars have been in the oven heating up and I'm about to get them pulled out and put on my cloth to fill them up. I wanted to show you what I'm using here to do this. I've got a pot here on the stove to catch my tallow. I've got a strainer inside of it. You can just use a strainer. I also like to use cheesecloth. I don't have like actual cheesecloth, like branded cheesecloth or anything. What I do have, and I keep them in a plastic bag so that they stay clean, is I have a 100% cotton tea towel. And I'm going to use that as my cheesecloth. I'm going to keep it folded in half and put that right over my strainer, and that's what I'm going to pour my tallow through to strain all of the impurities out of. You can see that it has come up through the strainer how much I've got in there. That's why I knew it was time. And there's not many bits left, so that will end up getting thrown outside for outdoor animals. Going to squeeze as much as I can out of what is left. I'm just going to put them in a bowl right here to take out to toss in the woods. Now to pour my tallow. I used this bowl to put the tallow in here to pour it into my jars because it has a spout on it. I've tried pouring it with just my pot, but I end up making a ginormous mess. And I'm just going to lift up my cheesecloth here and let the rest of that strain out. And the great thing is this can then just be put straight into the wash. And it's all good. I'm just going to push it through my strainer. It's hot to get everything out of there. Pour this into my bowl. Trying not to make a mess. And using a hot pad because the bowl is hot. I'm going to carefully fill my jars. Not quite enough for 5, maybe slightly over 4, but that's okay. Doesn't matter if they're a little full. I noticed that a couple of those I maybe have splashed out, so I've got white vinegar and a rag, well, a paper towel, and I'm going to just wipe those rims off just to make sure that I get a good seal on my jars. I'm going to use a towel to help to hold these jars while I tighten them because the jars are hot. Put that one back on just because. So there we have it. 4 beautiful pint jars full of tallow. It won't take that long for it to cool down, maybe an hour or so. And then into the shelf they go until I need to use them. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And please let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see or what else you would like to see. Have a great day, everyone.